on the right way. I mean, learning new software is such a challenge. I tried doing live streaming with Ecamm Live. I had a lot of had some challenges with Ecamm, couldn't quite get it set up, and then it wouldn't connect to my channel. I tried StreamYard, same kind of a thing. Riverside's working out pretty good for me right now. And hi, Debbie. Could you make sure and leave a comment to remind the people to start their questions with QQQ? I would appreciate that. I'm going to make Debbie a moderator. Man, she is really all over the place. Let's see. So, anyway, I think I got it. Debbie's here. That means we're started and we're doing good. I've got a lot of things to share. First of all, an update on my channel. If you will notice, my channel is slowed down, but that's sort of intentionally. So near the end of the year, I did a video, that video on how I make $1,000 a month through YouTube. Well, it went semi viral. I think it's got 175,000 views. And I got a lot of subscribers, a lot of feedback, and I decided for January, February, I was going to concentrate on doing videos about starting a YouTube channel and everything about YouTube. Well, I started getting feedback and actually complaints from people saying, "Hey, what happened to your wisdom stuff? I'm sick of this YouTube stuff. Share something else with us, okay?" So I decided that that's exactly what I was going to do, and so I posted a couple of videos that are not on YouTube. Well, they don't perform as well. Matter of fact, both of them are 8 and 9 of 10. But I absolutely love them, and the feedback I've gotten from them is really great. And so, anyway, going forward, I've got a couple of videos coming up. I'm pretty excited about. I am going to do a couple of YouTube related videos. One of them I'm going to do because of Solo second half. I love her channel. She did something on AI, and I've had several requests from other subscribers that I would do something about the AI fake old people. And I mentioned it in my last video about being a fraud. Oh my word. And so I've decided that I'm going to do that. And I'm really looking forward. At least I can make my screen bigger here. Can I make my screen? No, I can't. I guess I'm as good as I'm going to go. And so I, I've got some channels that use AI that are really great, and I'm going to feature those. But I'm going to feature these fake old people. The one that drives me nuts is the 100-year-old lady that eats eggs all the time. But these are all fake people. So I'm going to do a video on that. I'm also going to do a video on starting a YouTube channel after 70. There's a lot of people doing uh, start your channel after 40 or 50 or 60 or I don't there's nobody doing start your channel at 100 years old. Maybe I'll do that. I don't know. Oh man. Oh, let me see. Let me double check here. See who's in here. Why isn't that I can't get it to scroll. Oh, there you go. Now, Rod the Maritimer, are you really here? Give me a break. I mentioned you in my fraud video that you're not a fraud, man. Nice to see you, buddy. Let's see. Just to make sure everybody knows. Uh, there he is. Ha! Rod the Maritimer. Yeah, I've got some heroes on YouTube. This is one of them. I know a lot of you guys know who he is. And let's see. Hey, old Mike, thank you. I love this. I'm still trying to get used to doing this. One of these days, I'll get as good as Rob at doing live streams. But oh yeah, here we go. Oh my, hoping you'll like my book. It's been delivered. I have looked at it. It's a great book. It's on networking. I looked over the opening parts of it, and I will get to it, I promise. Uh, and I got so many books. I'm going to mention several books today. But man, thank you for sending me the book. I really appreciate it. Um, Look at all these people in here. Oh my word. Now, so Mike's Adventure Streams. I'm 75 in a few months and want to make a YouTube channel, but holding many things in. Well, make sure and watch the video that I'm going to. It probably will be in a couple of weeks before I do that. And see, I got to figure out how to. Yeah, those they hide, they disappear so fast. I'll figure that out as I go along. Uh, let's see. Happy Monday. So here's my plan. I took a couple of months to sort of rethink things. Uh, I promoted this live stream as motivation and mindset. I may talk about that. I think I will talk about that. But for where I am in my YouTube growth, I needed to take some time at the end of the year and think forward to what am I going to do for this for the rest of the year? I mean, maybe the rest of 10 years. I do have a plan to keep doing this till I'm 90. I'm trying to catch up with a couple of my older gals. I don't know how to what to call them. Ruth, she's 91, 92 by now. I don't know. I mean, we got some people that are in their 90s doing the YouTube stuff. Blows me away. So I want to be doing it for that, but I got to figure out a plan to make it happen. So I'm going to try to do a live stream every Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm going to do that in March, see how that goes. And then I'll be publishing my regular scheduled videos on Saturday at 6 a.m. So my schedule is live stream on Monday, get the video together for that I'm going to release. I usually have it wrapped up by Thursday. I record on Friday and edit, and then I'll upload on Saturday. We'll see how that goes. But I had an interesting question this morning. Where'd my glasses go? And it is, well, we'll get these glasses on in a minute. Okay. Here's the question. This is from D College, DCOLLEDGE, 33 minutes ago. I got that on the fraud video. He thanks me for the video. And then he says, give me some biblical advice for starting over at 58 from scratch. Worked with my hands for 40 years, but with 10 vertebrae in different stages of deterioration, I need to find my way to earning a living and starting over. Any advice for gun shy, YouTube adverse, and introvert to boot? Oh my word. How do I answer that, huh? I can give you some, most of you know I'm a minister. I've been preaching for 50 years. I had enough time to write down a couple of notes. If this subscriber is watching the live stream, I did have a couple of verses that I think are worth for you to take a look at. Ephesians 2:10. It's we've been created for good works. There's Proverbs 16:3. Committing your work to the Lord. Proverbs is a great read. When I first got into business some 50 years ago, 60 years ago, and was working for CompuServe, I read through the book of Proverbs to help me establish my PR firm, my marketing firm. That's a great read. Isaiah 43:19, doing a good thing. The book of James is one of my favorite books. There's a verse I'm going to read to you if I can get my Bible open. It's James chapter 1, verse 5, and it says, If any of you lack wisdom, man, I tell you, I lack wisdom all the time. Let him ask of God, who gives to all liberally and without reproach, and it will be given to him. So I think how I would answer this question in a couple of ways. Yeah, there's a biblical way that makes sense, and I think that's important. Uh, but along with that, and I was going to mention the book this morning, Drive, and all the books I mentioned today, they're already down in the show notes when you get around to that, and it is posted. But this is from the book Drive by Daniel Pink. Great book, and it's all about motivation. Here's what he says on page 131, the purpose motive. He says, the most deeply motivated people, not to mention those who are most productive and satisfied, hitch their desires to a cause larger than themselves, a cause larger than myself. The reason I like that is that it takes it out of just me pontificating on YouTube or sharing my story or whatever. Nothing against those channels. There's a lot of travel channels like that that I really love, and but having a purpose that is bigger than myself has built in intrinsic, not extrinsic, intrinsic motivation. And I will say, I will warn you, you said you need to make an income. YouTube is a slow process if you're going to make an income from it. And I don't care what age you are. I have another friend that I really appreciate. He's got a great channel. He sent me an email this morning. Let's see if I can find it. Um, where did that go? John, yeah. John, his channel is what is it again? I think it's Old and Bald or something. Hang on a minute. I'll see it here. Thought I had it right together. Oh yeah, Bald and Broke. That's it, John. Bald and Broke. You search in YouTube for Bald and Broke. This guy is really great. But yeah, he and I have been exchanging emails for a while. He spent a year working on his channel. This last video, though, blew up, and he's got about 20,000 views on it. He says, you taught me to slow down and be more thoughtful. If there's anything I can say about starting a YouTube channel, if your motivation is monetization, uh, that's probably the wrong motive to lead with. I think you need to lead with a passion or a purpose that's greater than yourself. The money will follow. I can't remember who said it, but maybe I said it. That sounds familiar. That if you put the effort in, and if you stick with what is a purpose bigger than yourself, and that's aligned with Simon Sinek's book, The Why. It's the idea that the money will follow. If I'm chasing money, it's always a dead end street. It leads to so much frustration because it's extrinsic, outside motivation from outside you rather than intrinsic, rather than motivation from inside you. Okay, so I took a long time to answer that question, but I left the guy a message that I would do that. So let's see here, man. I got lots to catch up on. I get my glasses off now. Let's see. So glad so many of you are here this morning. I appreciate that. YouTube is such a great adventure. Oh my word. Now here's somebody that I really like. This old horse girl. This is a great channel. Hey, how are you doing? So good to see you here. Oh man. There you go. You're on the stream. Good morning, Mike at Old Me Living in chat. It's hard to mention everybody's names. Oh my word! And look at this here. Look at all these famous people. Darren Strauss. She's my number one go-to person for storytelling. I got to tell you, you need to go watch her channel, join her school. I'll make sure to add a link in the description for her school. But Darren just every video she's knocking it out of the park because she's staying up with the current flow of things. That's one of the topics I wanted to talk about today was mindset, and this is so important. The book by Carol Dweck, Mindset. I've got a link for that also down in the description. But mindset is so important because if you get this wrong, oh man, uh, well, how that's related to Darren is she's a risk taker, uh, even though she might not admit it. She is a risk taker, and she's a forward thinker. She's not afraid to go with the flow as things change. And I mean, YouTube is changing all over the place. I can't believe how fast YouTube has changed. It's blowing my mind. So Carol says this on page 6. This is early. The first part of the book is worth buying the book. The introduction, the first couple of chapters. Believing that your qualities are carved in stone. How many of you believe your qualities are carved in stone? I used to believe that actually. Yeah, I did. That's the fixed mindset. She makes a distinction between a growth mindset and a fixed mindset. Believing that your qualities are carved in stone, the fixed mindset creates an urgency to prove yourself over and over. And I see a lot of YouTube creators that they learn one thing and then they work at that one thing in an effort to prove that they know how to do it when in fact they need to learn something else or they need to expand their learning and go further. I hope that makes sense. I mean that's been my journey since I got on YouTube. She says if you have only a certain amount of intelligence, a certain personality, a certain moral character, well then you'd better prove that you have a healthy dose of it. So you're always having to prove yourself. I grew up in a home man, it wasn't love in spite of, it was love because of. I'm sad to say that. My adoptive parents, I love them very much, but my mother had a tendency to withdraw her love from me if I wasn't performing adequately. And a lot of us grow up in life that way. Love because of, not love in spite of. I have to love people in spite of who they are. I have so many people that I disagree with, and we have different political views, ideology views, lifestyle views, all of those things. But if I'm going to be true to who I am, I love them in spite of it, and I hope they love me in spite of who I am and all. Part of what Carol's trying to talk about is that if you're going to have a fixed mentality or a fixed mindset, you're going to be stuck in always trying to prove yourself. Let's see. I got another quote I wanted to read from her. Here it is. I love this. Suddenly we realize that there were two meanings to ability. She's addressing an issue with a client. Not one. A fixed ability that needs to be proven and a changeable ability that can be developed through learning. So one of my mottos is, or my main motto is, if you ain't dead, you ain't done. I spoke to a seniors group this last Friday. I think the average age in there must have been 90. Matter of fact, there was a guy that came up to me afterwards. He was 104. And so I got a whole room full of old people, right? And I'm sharing with them on the theme, if you ain't dead, you ain't done. Now, they're all in a retirement home living in what's called in our area the towers. and I must have 150 or 200, maybe 300 apartments. It's a 14-story building, assisted living kind of a situation. So I got this whole room of people. Average age, I'm sure, is going to be 80 and above, 75 and above. A few people that are younger. So I start off, if you ain't dead, you ain't dead. And I asked for a show of how many of you are alive today. I got one hand. That cracked me up, man. However, I got some great feedback after I shared with them. I shared about my YouTube channel and whatever. But there's people in that group that were encouraged to keep going. Their passion wasn't over. They still had passion. They still had desire. Still had things that they wanted to do and could do. So let's see here. I don't see any questions, so nobody's going to have any questions. That's okay. I got a lot of things I can talk about if you don't have a question. Let's see. Just ask God. Figure it out. You have to work it also. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. God give it's like anything else. I can watch YouTube videos on how to do YouTube videos, but if I never take what I learn from all the people that I watched Sean Connell, Rob the Maritimer, Kevin Colby, I spent a lot of time before I started my channel watching those people and others on how to do YouTube. But 3 months of watching videos, you can only watch so many videos. But if I'd never hit the record button, uh, and I started off, just with my with my iPhone 16 Pro, that was it. Now I got about, I don't know, 3 or 4 thousand bucks worth of equipment. I have a Sony ZV Vlog. I'm using that as a webcam today. I've got my Shure MK7. I've got a mic mini that I'm using to record from, a large extra high resolution screen, lights, everything else. I've got a teleprompter over here. I haven't set it up yet. I intend to do that and give that a shot. I don't know. But you don't need any of that to start. I mean, Granny Pat, if you've ever watched her channel, I love her channel. She just has her iPhone. Sometimes her family are involved. And Ruth Bader, forgot the last name. Ruth Bader, what? Anyway, these gals, they turn on their iPhones, they walk around, they share this, they share that, and Ruth's got 70,000 subscribers. I don't know how many Granny Pat has. She's got a lot. Uh, so I guess my point is, if you don't start, you'll never go anywhere. So, like, God can give you some information and some things, but you never ask on it, or your own learning. This is why I really believe so much in the mindset that Carol talks about, which is simply, you got to have a growth mindset, a learning mindset. Man, oh yeah, that's it. I had one person in this group there was about 100 seniors there in their 80s. I had this one lady who come up to me afterwards and she said, I would really like to start something new, but she says, I don't even know how to, I have a hard time getting my telephone on and using it properly. And I asked her a simple question. I said, do you have any kids or grandkids? Yeah, I have a grandson. He's really technically oriented. I said, well, have you ever asked him to help you? Oh, well, I don't want to bother him. He always wants to help me, but I don't want to bother him. And I said, bother the kid. Bother him. Yeah, don't shut down learning when it shows up at your doorstep. So here's a lady that wants to get more organized on her phone and maybe do a YouTube channel from her phone. But and she's got a perfect opportunity. This grandson is willing to help her. Well, take advantage of it. Take advantage of the learning that's already around you. Oh my word. So let's see here. I'm waiting to know your why on doing this show. Why do you do what you do here? More than fun for sure. Yeah, my why is real simple. It took me a while to figure out. So my why in life is to share my life with others and encourage them. I've always been an encourager. Can't say it this morning. From the time when I was in high school, I was always encouraging people. So when I got to YouTube, I had the background of being an early adopter to the internet. I managed community for CompuServe, Netscape, and AOL. Thousands and thousands of crazy. Oh my word! I don't want to go into it. So, but even in then, I had a staff of 25 or 30, and so part of my life goal there again, my why was encouraging those people to do better. So now I get on YouTube. So what's my why? My why is to encourage and inspire people in the fourth quarter of their life. If you ain't dead, you ain't done. Old me living better. I want to encourage them to live better. And if they want to start a YouTube channel, I want to help them. So, my defined target is people in the fourth quarter of their life. I define that 65 to 100. Kind of a broad scope, right? Probably better 70 to 90, something like that. But I have a lot of subscribers and a lot of people that follow me that are younger, and that's okay. That's fine. But my why, my heart, my passion is for people that want to do a YouTube channel, this in the YouTube area, that want to do a YouTube channel. They're later in life. They don't need a six-figure income, maybe a side income. That would be good. But they don't need all the bells and whistles that people that are younger that are replacing a full-time income. I don't need a full-time income. I'm making some money through my channel, but that's not my why. I started with my why in my very first video was if you ain't dead, you ain't done. Talked about Selma, who lived to be 111 years old. So I dove into sharing my experience working with seniors since I was 48 years old, 35, 36 years now. So that my experience in working with seniors has helped to shape my why. I love seniors. I am one now. But I want to encourage them and inspire them. Boy, it took a long time to answer that question. Holy moly. Well, here's somebody I know. Official JB Beverly. Nothing wrong with asking for help if you want to better yourself. I want everybody that watches this live stream to go look up JB Beverly. JB's become a really great friend of mine, and I made the mistake of giving him my phone number. I got about 10 people I've been on YouTube that I've shared not emails but also phone numbers and whatever, and I love it. I'm just teasing him right now. But JB is a somewhat famous singer, songwriter, had a band, traveled all over. Uh, Set that aside to do a YouTube channel. I love his channel. He's a terrific storyteller, and I think storytelling is such an important part of doing YouTube. But he and I really hit it off, and I've enjoyed his friendship. It's been meaningful. So thank you, JB. I really appreciate that. Let's see if I can catch up. Hi, Mike. I'm just turning 60 in 2 weeks looking for work. It's hard, but why don't I start my channel? Can you say the names of the older ladies you said after? Yeah, you know what? After the live stream gets posted to YouTube, I'll go back in and list their channels. It's Cash Budget Grandma, I think that's one I really love. Granny Pat's another one. Ruth Bader, whatever, and I can't think of her last name. Sandra Hart. Matter of fact, I'm gonna use Sandra in my upcoming video on. I'm gonna compare Sandra's video to this AI generated old lady that's supposedly about the same age as Sandra is. I want you compare the difference. Oh my word, Sandra Hart, she's terrific. These are the ones that come to the top of my mind right now. Richard's retirement. I'm going to feature him in the next video also. Mars Fix It Shop. I mean, there's so many people that are in this age group that are doing so well. I'll try to list some of the channels down in the description. Okay, let's see. I had asked for an interview a little bit ago. Would love to reconnect. Yeah, I remember that. Matter of fact, let me address that right now. When I get up to speed, a little better speed with YouTube, I'm going to invite some of you that are regulars. I'm going to invite Debbie Sue to come on. I'd love to interview her, but I just have to get a little more comfortable with the platform, inviting people in, making sure I don't blow the channel, I blow the system off, up or whatever. But as far as me being interviewed by others, boy, I got to tell you, I probably get anywhere from 10 to 15 collaboration videos to collaborate on. I get 10 or 15 requests in email to promote products, and I get requests to be interviewed in a lot of different places. My problem is, most of you know, I still work full time pastoring a church. I'm the full time caregiver for my wife. I only got so much time. I'm only doing this part time, and I'm loving doing it. It gives me a great outlet. I need a break from everything else that I'm doing, and so that's why I started this thing at 80 years old. But I've had to limit my interviews. Sherry Engel, I love Sherry. She's up in Canada. She's invited me on several times. I just haven't been able to make the time to do that interview. I really want to do it, and but in these Monday live streams, hopefully by the end of the month, I'll be able to invite some of you in, and we can talk a little bit and answer questions. So I'm looking forward to that. Let's see. I have had some people reach out to me saying that they have seen my videos on other people's channels on TikTok. Of course, see, I got to figure out how to keep these up here. It drives me nuts. There's a setting here, but I can't quite see, where did that go. Yeah, I'll figure it out eventually. Give me a second. Of course, I haven't given permission for this. Is there any way to control this? Uh, so if you go into YouTube Studio, I go in there every once in a while to check to see who's using my stuff. In analytics, you can see who has clipped your videos. There's two ways to look at this. If they are, I have filed one copyright strike against one other creator who had lifted my How to Start Your YouTube Channel 80 years old. He'd taken my entire video, put it on his channel, hadn't changed a thing. He just put it there. I couldn't believe it. And so in the YouTube settings, you can check that now to see who's doing that kind of stuff. So I discovered that and reported it to YouTube, and they took it down. Uh, but I have anywhere all the time, people are clipping portions of my videos. That doesn't bother me at all. Sometimes they give me a shout out. Sometimes they don't. By shout out, I mean they give a link in the description to my channel. I like that when that happens, but a lot of times it doesn't happen. It's just one of the things. There's fair use. People can clip. I'm going to be clipping Sandra Hart and Robert's retirement for my next video. I'm not going to ask them for permission. I'm only going to do 15 or 20 seconds of one of their videos. You don't have to ask for permission about that. You can if you want to. But so my opinion is, unless they're making money off of your video specifically or off of your content in some way, then it's free advertising. It's promotion. I just really don't. I don't worry about it. I hope that answers the question. I don't know. Got a nice group of people in here this morning. I'm kind of looking over for questions. Yes, solo is it's in your YouTube settings. Not sure what you mean by that, but anyway. Here you go, Debbie. I would love to see Debbie Sue in an interview. That now, if you hear Chewy in the background, he's starting to make his voice known. Oh, I see what you're talking about. Here we go. Yes, solo. Go to your YouTube studio. Go to advanced LIDs, advanced settings. Okay, gotcha. I got you. Got you. Got you. All right. So let me go. Let me check the time here. 10:36. I got some time left. I don't think I missed any questions. I don't like the way my sidebar is set up today. I don't know why. I keep playing with this all the time. Eventually I'll figure it out. Eventually I'll figure it out. So, see, where did my, here it is. So a couple of things I do that you guys all know about. I'm a big journaler. I use my Oxen Pine journal. By the way, in the video description, I've got links to all of the content that I'm using, to my AI voice recorder, all that junk. If you're interested, it's all down there. But I wanted to talk about a little bit regarding a growth mindset. I wanted to finish my thought of that, and one of them was the long view. When I started my channel, at 80 years old, I was kind of looking at just 1 year. Was I going to stick with it 1 year? I've got another channel that I've been gave a shout out to. Let me see if I can find it quickly. I think it's really important. It really makes sense that. Let me go in my community. I'm going to learn how to do this on the screen. I just haven't quite got there yet. Here it is. Mike's front porch. Maybe I saw him in here. He might be in here. No, that's where Mike's retiring. Hang on a second. So I had some. Does it help your channel to hype the videos? Well, I do get a fair amount of hypes. I don't think it helps my channel. It doesn't help the video. The hypes are timed. In other words, the hypes. I think you get a 7-day window to get those hypes, and then it's calculated. I've never been able to verify if the hypes do anything or not. It's more, it may just be another like subscribers, it may be another vanity kind of a thing. I don't know. I haven't figured it out. So there's my answer to that. Debbie Sue had a question. I don't see it in here. Let me look back. Sorry for the dead air. Yeah, some of you, I have mentioned this before. I worked for a radio station for a while. I started out in sales, but then I ended up with doing voiceovers and different things. My voice, I guess, has some sort of quality to it for radio, and that was kind of fun. Debbie, you're going to have to ask your question again. I can't go back and I don't seem to be able to find it in here. So, if you're still here, there you go. What do you think matters more in the long term? Focus on a niche or the personality of the creator? Wow. Let me think about that for a minute. I like that. I'll put it up there again. What do you think matters more in the long term? Focus on a niche or the personality? Well, first of all, I don't look at my personality as being fixed. Hang on. By the way, you get my stickers at my merch store if you want to. Um, there's a certain amount of your personality that doesn't change over time. However, I was an angry person. I had anger management issues. Some would say I had a critical anger personality. It took me years to deal with that. If I had a fixed mentality, I might say, fixed mindset, I might say, ah, that's just me. I'm never going to change. I've had some of my relatives make that comment. Hey, he's that way. He's never going to change. But I do believe people can change. And I've changed. I'm a living testimony of it is. So the question is personality or niche more important? I don't think you can find your niche until you find your personality. If you know who you are, your why, your personality, I'm always working on my personality. I'm trying to learn how to uh, be more caring, more loving, how to be more patient, how to understand people, how to let people have their space. So I'm always working on developing or improving what I guess we would call personality. So personality is important, and I think it's probably more important than your niche. I mean, there are people on YouTube, a few of them I really enjoy. They could talk about anything, and I would watch them. You know, I won't give you any examples right now, but they just have their personality is infectious. Their presence is infectious. They show up on the camera. They're honest and authentic. They could talk about opening a can of beans, driving a car, flying an airplane, or how to start a YouTube channel. I'll probably watch them. So again, my view on niche, it makes sense if you're selling a product or you're really, I think narrow niches monetize faster. But I think for those of us in the fourth quarter, at least for me, my niche is rather broad. And I don't like the word niche. I talk about being in my lane. I have two niches in my lane. My lane is fourth quarter, the people in the fourth quarter of their life. I guess that's my lane. My two niches within that are sharing my wisdom and encouragement. There's a lot of great channels that talk about retirement. I can't talk about retirement. Do you know why I can't talk about retirement? I'm not retired. I'm 80 years old and not retired. Mike's retirement, Richard's retirement, Solo and retired. All the people that are retired, they're in a retirement niche. I'm not in that niche. I don't fit in that niche. I can't talk about retirement because I'm not retired. Now, I am in the fourth quarter of my life, so I can talk about what it's like working full time, taking care of my wife full time, doing YouTube and all the other things that I do, trying to feed my dog. Man, is he ever high maintenance? All the various things of life, living in a retirement community. I can talk about a lot of things. I love talking about my life, what I've learned as an adopted child and growing up with my adoptive parents, finding my birth mother. That I've got a couple of videos I talk about that. How I learned how to adapt through my experience in the Marine Corps, what I've learned from some of the mentors in my life. I share all of that, but guess what? Those videos do not perform as well as the videos on starting a YouTube channel. But guess what? I really don't care now. In the beginning, I did. It bothered me. Now I look at it in the overall long view. That's it. That's what I want to say. I try to look at it in the overall long view. Rob talks about this. Rob the Maritimer all the time. Kevin Kobe does too. A lot of the gurus do. You've heard the cliche before. It's not a. It's a marathon. That's it. It's a long race. But the long view is important. Now, let me ask you a question. If you're 30 or 40 and you're watching this live stream right now, what's your long view? Your long view may be, is it 50 or 60? What about me? I'm 82. What's my long view? Ha! Well, old Mike, you can't make it too long because you probably won't be around. So the older you get, your long view shrinks. That's just the way it is. That group of seniors that I spoke to the other night, average age 95, their long view may be a year. But as one guy came up to me afterwards, and this is a guy that was 103. He was such a joke. He goes, and I talked about Longview in the video. I mean, in my speech, my sharing with him. And he says, you know what my long view is? I said, no. What's your long view? He said, it's waking up tomorrow and getting down for breakfast. That's my long view. I said, well, John, that's pretty good. Do you think it's longer than that? He says, well, maybe a month. I never think longer than a month ahead. So the older you get, your long view starts to shrink on you. So I'm encouraging you, whatever age you are, maybe you're in the fourth quarter like I am, your long view is not quite as long as it used to be. But when you start a YouTube channel or anything, you're in it for the long term. My wife and I celebrated being married 60 years last year, and boy, that's a long journey, man. Being married to the same person for 60 years, holy moly! But it I'm a little embarrassed to say this, but it took me 20 years to figure out how to be married. It took me 20 years just to warm up to marriage. Yeah. I mean, if you can get past 20 or 30, you can probably go quite a long time. But I mean, those first 15, 20 years can be really difficult. It took me a while to figure it out. But once I did, it was wonderful. And I'll give you the secret to marriage. Secret to marriage is this: learning to listen and give grace. Two things: learning to listen and give grace. Again, it's kind of a cliche, and you see a lot of therapists talk about it. Would you rather be right or be married? Or not be married? I forgot how it goes. Uh, Giving up my rights doesn't mean that I abandon my rights. It means that I don't have to be right in the moment. And the other problem is probably 85, 90% of the time, I'm wrong. I don't know if you figured that out or not. But yeah, my wife has a terrific track record of being right, and I have a horrible track record of being right. I got a great track record of being wrong. But my marriage advice, and I'm not qualified to give it necessarily, is really simple. Yeah, and learn to listen and give grace. And giving grace is, in a biblical sense, is God's unmerited favor. So grace is when you think somebody doesn't deserve something, you give it to them anyway. You give them favor anyway. And it took a while for me to figure that out in a marriage context. And I use it now in church and business and whatever, that learning to listen, giving people grace, giving people time to grow, time to live. It's been healing for me and my family and my life. So, yeah, there you go. Well, let's see. I got Darren leaving a comment. Man, Darren, you're sticking into the thing. In my 40s, and I can't think past a couple of. Darren, you're so funny. You crack me up. Here's a lady that is so professional and uh, well, anyway, I love Darren. She's really great. So, right, Mike's retirement. Hey, Mike, how you doing? I appreciate you, my friend. You're really great. Uh, uh, problem is, you start getting to know each other, and you get into trouble. We know each other too well. Oh my word! First time on one of your live streams, my hubby and I have a lifestyle channel as an inter whoops, see, I got to figure this out before I get on the next live stream. I'll figure this out with a Christian worldview. How do I know if our topics are too broad? Oh, answer able. Uh, the whole Christian sector on YouTube is really interesting. I follow several people that have channels that are very narrow in terms of their either homeschooling or Bible study or reading scripture. It breaks my heart. I've had several people reach out to me and they feel that God's called them to do a YouTube channel and they just sit in a chair and they read from the scripture and that's fine. And my view is it isn't about the numbers. Even if in the long term of things, even one or two people's lives change, that makes it all worthwhile. So you have low views on a video, but for all you know, one of those views, that person that completely changed their life through that one view, and they'll never tell you about it. So that makes it worthwhile. But I think in the long term, the Christian sector, you have to decide: are you going to make it a Bible study or a lifestyle? And there are some great lifestyle channels. I can't think of the names of them right now. A couple of them are ladies that are on farms and whatever, and I think they're really great. So they're talking about lifestyle and then incorporate their spiritual, biblical perspective into it. Several other channels do that. Even Kevin Kobe. Kevin's channel is definitely not Bible study and not Christian, but he's not afraid to bring in a Bible verse or bring in his Christian worldview into it. I think that's an important distinction that makes sense. I don't know if that answered your question or not, but that's the best I can do at the moment. Oh boy. Let me go back to this question one more time, make sure I get the last part of it. Okay, how do I know if my topics are too broad? That's what I did not answer. Let me answer that. Uh, are my topics too broad? That involves two things. Number one, it involves your audience. Uh, you have to figure out what's called the avatar or what your audience, who your target market, who your audience is going to be. Once you have that in your mind, and that's the person that you're talking to, that helps you to narrow your topics. I think probably what you're asking about, how many things can I cover in a particular on a particular channel? Some channels cover everything under the sun and they have all kinds of content. I think that it's best, like in my case, I'm covering two streams within my lane. And I think that you want to stick to one or two topics or one or two general ideas. Uh, but it's matching your audience with what you feel will benefit them the most. This is another problem that a lot of times we have is that we feel like we have something to say, and man, they better listen to me. There's a lot of people out there, they better listen to me. I got something to say. I think I think the better approach is I want to find people that I can encourage. Do I have an encouraging message, an encouraging topic, an educational topic, or something that is going to touch someone? I can do that without giving advice. I can do that simply by sharing my own story or sharing how I got through something. And I shared with this group the other night. So funny. I shared the story in the Marine Corps. I've shared it before on my channel about getting through the obstacle course. And man, yeah, I almost had to get put back in boot camp because I couldn't get over the leaning wall. So I shared that story. I had a lady come up to me and she said, "You know, I've had some walls in my life, and I don't think I've got over them yet." We're gonna have walls and obstacles and things in our life. So here I am. I'm sharing a story. The point of this, there's a point to this. I'm sharing a story with a group of people in their 90s, 80s, and 90s. But the story hit a chord with this lady. I think the key is that on your channel, and this is why I encourage you to go to Darren Strauss's channel and watch her channel about storytelling. Telling a story is so powerful and effective. I could have stood before this group and talked about conquering walls and this and that, but to give them a visual picture of me in the Marine Corps fighting to get over the wall and how I finally got over it, that really resonated. Matter of fact, I've had communication since then with several people that said that story stuck out to them. There's still walls in my life at 95 years old, and I'm not sure I can get over them. But you encourage me. So I think in terms of topic, you need to think how you're going to communicate that topic. How will you share whatever it is, whether you're sharing a Bible verse, you're sharing something from a book or something from your life, whatever it is, if you can share it in a story fashion from your own life, I think that's really powerful. Oh man, shoes off with Casey. Sharing knowledge. This is a beautiful thing. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I'm just about running out of. I don't know if can you hear Mickey in the background. He's barking. Wants his lunch. He says, "Get me lunch, Dad. I want some lunch." I think going too broad messes up the logarithm. Yeah, I think you're right. Better to start narrow and branch out later, which we had done that. Yeah, I think that's probably true. Probably, especially in the beginning. If you can stay on focus in the beginning, I stayed on focus in the beginning till my fourth video, which blew up and went viral, and that got me off of focus a little bit. The viral video got me a lot of subscribers, but I've also lost a lot of subscribers. And a lot of my subscribers don't like when I talk about anything other than YouTube and vice versa, you know? So, you know, I think that's right, especially in the beginning, stay on topic. I think that really is. Let's see. What kind of dog do you have? I've got a Maltese. I have a little Maltese. He's a rescue dog. I'm 82 and he's 14 or 15, so we're probably about the same age. I've had him on a couple of my videos before. Uh, you know, I'm not going to put Mickey on camera right now. Uh, if you go to my channel, I've got a video and he's on the front of that video. You can see him there. Okay, I'm done. 10:58, 1 hour. I'll see you next Monday. Okay, I enjoyed. I'm sorry if I didn't answer your question. After this is over, the comments I don't think will be live. You can leave me a comment once this is posted. If I didn't answer the question, if you comment on the video after it is posted to my live stream, I will try to answer it. Hey, Debbie. Well, I got to tell you, you're awesome. We're all awesome. Everybody here is awesome. I love you. Thank you for being